Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. If you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is a place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast, healing hearts, one conversation at a time.
Have you ever looked around and thought, why do I feel like I should be further along by now? Maybe in your career, your relationships, or even in your personal growth. If so, you're not alone. Today on the Hey Hannah podcast, we're talking about what it means to feel underdeveloped and how to move intentionally towards growth. Hey friends, welcome back. Today's topic is one that I think we all wrestle with at some point, and that's just feeling underdeveloped. Maybe you've been in a role where no one poured into you. Maybe you never had a mentor, or maybe life has just been so busy you haven't had the space to grow in the ways you want. Here's the good news. Growth is not automatic, but it is possible. And being intentional about personal growth can change everything about how you show up in your career, your relationships, and even in your faith journey. So let's start here. What does it mean to feel underdeveloped? Maybe you've had opportunities, but no real guidance, or maybe you're in a job where you're doing just enough to get by, but not being stretched. Or maybe you've been so focused on survival mode, work, kids, bills, that your own growth has been on pause. Friends, hear me on this. Acknowledging that you feel underdeveloped is not failure, it's awareness. And awareness is the first step towards change. So if underdevelopment is where we're starting, how do we move towards growth? The key is intentionality. Personal growth doesn't happen by accident. You can't just hope you'll grow. You have to choose it, plan for it, and make room for it. So, here are a few action steps. The first thing I want to recommend for you is to do a self assessment. Ask yourself, where do I feel stuck? What skills do I need to sharpen? And what areas of my life feel like they've been on autopilot? The next thing I recommend for you to do is set some clear growth goals. Instead of saying, I want to get better, because that's pretty vague, you want to be specific. If you're not really specific with the goals, the old saying is, if you're not specific, how do you know when you get there? It's the same thing here with your clear growth goals. You want to be specific with those. And so an example of that could be, I want to improve my communication skills by reading one book this month, or I want to grow in leadership by finding a mentor. Whatever it is, this is going to be personal for each of us because we all want to grow in different areas. But I want you to take some time, be intentional about setting those clear growth goals for yourself. The next thing I recommend is find a growth environment. Jim Rohn says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you. That might mean joining a small group, maybe a professional network, or even following growth-minded voices online. Again, you have to be really intentional in this area. It may be a little harder to find these avenues, but we are committed to growth for ourselves, and this is one of the necessary steps that we need to take to do that. The next thing I'd say for you is to invest in learning. Podcasts, audiobooks, online courses. Growth is more accessible now than ever. The question is, are you making time for it? I know we are all so busy. There's so many things that are coming at us. But again, that's where we go back to that word of intentionality, being intentional about investing in our own learning and finding the forms of communication that are just really going to be the most helpful for us to digest that information that we need. My last recommendation is take one small step daily. As they're saying, the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just one small step daily. Growth is less about giant leaps and more about consistent small steps. 10 minutes of reading, one intentional conversation, one prayer for wisdom. It all adds up. Now, I don't want to just tell you to grow without giving you some tools. We got to give you some resources here. So let's talk about a few resources that can help you along the way. The first one, I want to give you some books, some practical resources for you. I've mentioned a few of these books a couple times, but Atomic Habits by James Clear, Small Practical Changes. This book really focuses in on that. So this is one I definitely recommend for you. Another one is The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. Classic on intentional growth. My next one is Boundaries. I've mentioned this a few times by Dr. Henry Cloud for relational and emotional health. Another thing I want to mention for you is a few podcasts. You're already listening to one, obviously, so you like listening to podcasts, I hope. But Craig Rochelle has a leadership podcast, which is practical leadership and growth tips. So that's another one that I recommend for you. Maxwell Leadership Podcast is a good one for personal and professional development as well. Now, when we take a little bit of a pivot from the podcast, I want to recommend a few other intentional growth steps, especially for your faith, and that's daily prayer. Make sure that you are grounding yourself in daily prayer and strengthening your prayer life. And maybe even consider journaling as another way just to kind of have some time to sit with yourself and your thoughts and to invite God into your growth process. I want to give you a scripture focus just to kind of help you get a lens for how we're viewing things. And Philippians 1:6 says, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. So, as we are being intentional about our growth and focusing on getting better every day, I want to encourage you to create a growth journal or a growth tracker. That way, you can see yourself making that progress that you're aiming for right now. Schedule growth appointments with yourself. Literally block out time on your calendar, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, to learn or reflect. Now, friends, if you feel behind, let me remind you, you are not too late and you are not too old. Growth can happen in every season of life. Don't let underdevelopment be your identity. It's just your starting point. With intentional steps, God can take you from where you are to where you're meant to be. And along the way, you'll discover strengths, confidence, and opportunities you didn't even know were there. So here's your challenge this week. Pick one area of your life where you feel underdeveloped and take one intentional step to grow. That might be ordering a book, listening to a podcast, asking someone to coffee for mentorship, or spending time journaling your goals. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. Remember, you are loved, chosen, and called, and God's not finished with your story yet. Until next time, everybody, take care.
Then that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, a new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's Hive. Until next time, take care.
Entertainment. Entertainment.